Hello everyone. In this video, I will be performing an analysis of The Matrix by discussing its themes and messages through the use of different critical approaches and frameworks that relate to film theory and film criticism. Specifically, I'll be examining the film through three lenses of criticism: formalism, Soviet montage theory, and semiotics. Formalism is an approach to film theory that focuses on the formal or technical aspects of a film, such as the lighting, shot composition, music, sound design, and editing. The purpose of examining these elements is to see how they create meaning within the film on their own and when combined together. One of the founders of formalism was German psychologist Hugo Munsterberg. In his book, The Photoplay, Munsterberg theorized about what he described as a hierarchy of mental processes: attention, memory and imagination, and emotion. Munsterberg's theories of the mind informed his theory of film. He believed that the medium of film appealed to the powers of the mind via specific techniques that correspond to the key mental processes. Close-ups correspond to attention, editing corresponds with memory and imagination, and narrative of the film corresponds with emotion. To better understand Munsterberg's concepts of formalism, we'll apply and demonstrate them using various scenes from The Matrix. Going back to the photoplay, Munsterberg says that when close-ups occur, we, the audience, know that we must give our fullest attention to it. Let's examine the famous red pill, blue pill scene from The Matrix. You'll notice that this scene features several close-up shots of Morpheus. This has the effect of calling our attention to the pills in his hands, emphasizing their significance, and calling our attention to Neo as he contemplates which pill to take, thus emphasizing the significance of his choice. Neo's decision to take the red pill is a major turning point of the film. Part of why the significance of that moment is conveyed so effectively is because the film brilliantly uses close-ups to direct our attention to the pills. In the chapter about memory and imagination, Munsterberg describes the way in which films, which he calls photoplays going back and forth in time and flashbacks or flash-forwards, evoke the spectator's imaginations. Here, we are passive witnesses to the wonders which are unveiled in the imagination of the persons in the play. By this, Munsterberg means that we, the audience, see past, present, and future events in the story just as the characters in the film. We can see an example of this concept in The Matrix during the scene where Morpheus explains to Neo how the machines overthrew and enslaved humanity. As Morpheus describes machines being harvested, so too do we see them being harvested on screen. While not all the details about the war between machines and humanity are given in this sequence, enough information is given that we can imply how the war eventually played out and resulted in the dystopian future that we see in the real world. Munsterberg espouses that the central aim of the photoplay is to picture emotions. He goes on to say that the persons in the photoplay are the first of all subjects of emotional experience, giving meaning and value to the play. In other words, the narrative of a film is crafted out of the emotions felt by the characters in the story. The narrative of The Matrix conveys emotion by centering on the journey and transformation that Neo undergoes. At the beginning of the story, he is uncertain of himself and disillusioned by his false reality, but by the end of the film, he fully embraces his role as the savior of humanity. Soviet montage theory is a formalistic approach to filmmaking that emphasizes the importance of editing in a film. It came from Soviet filmmakers from the Moscow Institute of Cinematography. One of the founding members of the school was Lev Kuleshov. Kuleshov is perhaps best known for his experiments conducted in 1921, known as the Kuleshov effect. In this experiment, Kuleshov set up a series of shots that cut back and forth between a man and three different objects to see which emotions the contrasts would convey. For instance, cutting from the shot of a man to a shot of a dead child in a casket would convey sadness. Cutting from the shot of the man to the shot of a bowl of soup would convey hunger. And cutting from the shot of a man to a woman lying on a couch would convey lust. Kuleshov once postulated that what is important is not what is shot in a given piece, but how the pieces of a film succeed in another, how they are structured. By this, Kuleshov means that a single shot of a film is not influenced by the entire context of the film, but rather by the shots that follow and precede it. Kuleshov goes on to say that the juxtaposition and interrelationship of various elements much more vividly and more convincingly expresses essence and meaning. In other words, meaning in montage is created with the juxtaposition of shots. For example, the lobby shootout scene in The Matrix uses the techniques of montage editing to create a fast-paced and chaotic tone to match the action on screen. The sequence features Neo and Trinity as they shoot at and evade the bullets of the soldiers. There are several subjects in the shot, such as the empty bullet casings hitting the floor, splinters of concrete flying everywhere, and constant muzzle flashes. All of this in tandem keeps the audience deeply engaged in the scene while maintaining a fast-paced rhythm. Semiotics is the study of signs or things that communicate meaning, as well as how they convey said meaning. There are two main elements to semiotics, both deriving from the word sign: the signifier and the signified. The signifier is the denotation or the most literal, basic meaning of a sign. For example, a dove as a signifier is a white bird. The signified is the connotation, or the secondary cultural and associated meaning of a sign. Continuing with our earlier example, the dove as the signified is associated with positive emotions such as peace and love. One way in which the Matrix implements semiotics is through the use of recurring colors as signifiers. The first recurring color is green. All the scenes that take place within the Matrix have a green tint to them, the same color as the green text on Neo's computer at the beginning. This is a visual indicator that the characters themselves are inside of a computer program. Furthermore, green is a color which connotates toxicity, poison, and sickness. Likewise, the green tint of the Matrix is meant to evoke a feeling of unwellness within the audience, symbolizing how the Matrix is poisoning the minds of all those still plugged in. The next recurring color is blue, which connotates stability, comfort, and freedom, but also coldness. The blue pill that Morpheus offers to Neo represents the comfort of being blissfully unaware of the Matrix. All the scenes in the film occurring in the real world have a light blue organic hue to them, a visual indicator to symbolize the comfort of being unplugged from the Matrix and in touch with reality. However, it also symbolizes how cold and desolate the real world is, as well as the melancholy that comes from knowing the truth about the Matrix. The last major recurring color found in the Matrix is black, which connotates power, authority, mystery, and evil. The dark leather and shades that the characters wear symbolizes the unique powers and abilities that they possess when plugged into the Matrix, as well as the mysterious personas that they adopt. With Morpheus, the black represents his commanding presence as the leader of the Resistance. The black suit that the villain, Agent Smith, wears establishes him as a figure of authority, a stand-in for a shadowy government official, and symbolizes his character's ruthless and calculated nature. To conclude, The Matrix is a film that uses a variety of methods to convey themes and meaning. It uses formalistic techniques to engage the audience on an emotional level. It uses Soviet montage theory in its editing, and it uses semiotics via color to convey messages. These are, however, just a handful of frameworks, approaches, and lenses that the film can be viewed through. Moreover, The Matrix is just one example of a film that can be scrutinized in different ways. The medium of film is so particularly powerful because it has the ability to convey ideas more effectively than almost any other art form. There is something to be said about the way in which one film can generate more than one meaning depending on the audience, about the way in which it stimulates our imaginations and our emotions. It is part of why the medium has endured and been celebrated for over a century. I hope that with this video, I was successful in conveying my enthusiasm and passion for film, sharing what I've learned from studying film, and maybe, just maybe, even helped at least one person watching this video to see some of their favorite movies in a whole new light.